Hi everyone, this is Kathy Mason from MasonWorks, and I'm here today to talk a little bit with Dino Karabeg, who's going to be here in Boulder, Colorado in July for the International Society for the Systems Sciences event at CU. And Dino, how are you today?
I'm very good, Kathy. How are you?
Great, great. Thank you so much for agreeing to explain and introduce yourself here so that more people can get a feeling of why they want to come and meet you and experience the ISSS event.
Thank you too. I'm very grateful for this opportunity.
Yes. So Dina, tell us a little bit about your work. Tell us about your past work and your work that you're working on now.
I studied, I did my doctorate in California in algorithm theory, so something quite theoretical. When I moved to Oslo, to the University of Oslo, I changed my interest to foundations of knowledge work or fundamental questions in how we do information. And currently, so this work developed in all kinds of ways. First, I started with really fundamental recreation of knowledge, which I can say a few words about this later. And currently, I'm facilitating. I have co-founded and I'm facilitating an international community, R&D community called Knowledge Federation, which is doing what we call systemic innovation in knowledge work. I will explain what this is. And I'm coming to Colorado to develop systemic innovation in knowledge work further with system scientists.
Well, you're the co-chair for this systemic inquiry group, so that should be pretty interesting. So Dina, what is systemic innovation, and how can it make a difference?
I would like to explain systemic innovation with the help of that little ideogram. What you see is a bus with candle headlights. It is an ideogram, and I want to explain the meaning of systemic innovation with the help of this metaphorical image. So think about the bus as our society, technologically advanced, taking us very fast somewhere. The candles are what we do with information, how we use information, how we create it. The message is that information at this point for us needs to fulfill a whole new role. And that is to show us the way. To help us use all of our resources, technology to begin with, and then our very ability to innovate, to create in a more purposeful way. What the bus is saying is that we have made a mistake. We have inherited knowledge work, we have inherited information work that originated for completely different needs, with completely different technology, like the candles. There is no fit, right? So what we need to do is recreate part of our knowledge work or create a new part of our knowledge work that will basically show us the way. And the message of this bus is hugely optimistic, right, or hugely positive. We can continue our progress. We can make really good use of our technology. We only need to make a turn. And we need, the key is information that can help us make this turn.
I see, wonderful. Yeah, I like that analogy because it makes it so clear what you're explaining. I love that. Thank you. So how is this related to the work with ISSS?
Right. So in International Society for the System Sciences, or the system scientists, they have understood essentially what the light should be. Because systemic thinking has to do with overcoming the naivete of immediate causality. Oh, I like this, give me more money, give me more chocolate. They have understood that we need to, at this point, understand systemic consequences, which is broader consequences of actions. And so systemic innovation cannot really be developed without system scientists properly. On the other hand, systemic innovation naturally has these two components, right? Technological innovation and the knowledge about systems. Now, what we're talking about is creating a broader marriage, a happy marriage between these two things, right? So don't innovate in a naive way, but we innovate in an informed way. And this curating emergence for thrivability SIG, which stands in our community for Systemic Inquiry Group, it has been created, or Alexander Laszlo, who created the SIG, when he invited me to co-chair the SIG with him, he essentially created a meeting place where system sciences can meet knowledge media people or people like me who are technical, and create a space where in systemic innovation can properly evolve.
That's brilliant. That's brilliant. Of course, you need to marry the two, and marry the two to the highest level in order to help us solve the issues that we see facing humanity now. It's brilliant. So are you going to be talking about all of this at your workshop, or what is your workshop about?
Right. We have our SIG has a session which lasts, I guess, a couple of days typically. And there I will be talking about my own or the project that we are doing for the systems community, which is actually very similar to the project that you're doing right now with us. And that is, we call it the lighthouse, right? And the lighthouse is supposed to tell the people out there, okay, so look see why this is relevant.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Because the systems community, paradoxically, it can easily become another academic silo, which it definitely should not be. Right. But on the workshop that we are announcing here, we're talking about something very specific. It's part of systemic innovation, but it is systemic innovation whose task is to connect. We call it systemic initiatives. Think about that people out there and communities that are really working on the forefront, on the frontier of change. We want to enable them to learn from one another and to learn from the systems community and the systems community learning from them. So it's basically interconnection work and learning. And we call this, we call this evolutionary learning and evolutionary learning.
Fabulous. Fabulous. Yes, that's a big favorite for me too as well. I feel that we're creating a better world, and the way of knowing how to use technology to do that, as well as getting it accessible using technology. It's quite remarkable the difference between even 20 years ago of what data you have at your fingertips. I mean, you don't have to keep it all here anymore. Thank goodness.
Right. I like to I like to show this and voice my fascination, right? How clever we have been putting all kinds of incredible capabilities into a small thing. But there is a huge paradox in innovation. When you look at big things like how education functions, or how we scientists function, we're still publishing old-fashioned articles. Completely different possibilities exist, and this is what we're developing. Really, we're developing essentially using, you can say, systemic thinking on a very large scale.
Right. Well, it's inclusive. It's more where you have a community of intelligence working together on an outcome rather than one person by themselves. It's brilliant. It's brilliant. Well, thank you so much, Dino. I look so forward to meeting you in a month or so, and I know that a lot of people are going to want to come and meet you in person and create a dialogue with you about this. I think this is our hope for the future. This is really where humanity gets to shift out of the paradigm we're in and to a much more positive paradigm. So thank you so much.
Thank you very much, very much, Kathy, too, for giving us a voice in your community and connecting us with you.
Oh, thank you. Okay. We'll see you in about a month. Bye-bye.